Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, which I'm recording quite late for a good reason. I'm going to start off with a birthday, bizarrely enough, today. I'm going to say a very happy birthday to James Kopp, who is a constructor that we've featured on Cracking the Cryptic many times in the past. He's a wonderful constructor, normally does themed puzzles around dates and things like that. Now, often when it's a constructor's birthday, we'll try and find a really good puzzle and do one of their puzzles on their birthday. But James, I have to apologise to you today because we're not going to be doing one of your puzzles. We're going to be doing this puzzle on the screen, which is very time sensitive. It's called Earthquakes in Turkey, and it's the work of Serkan Yurekli. Now, many of you will know Serkan's name. He's one of the main puzzle constructors in the world. Absolutely prolific, brilliant constructor of all types of puzzles. Inventor, I think, of the Tapper puzzle. If you've ever played Tapper, well, I think that came out of Serkan's brain. And Serkan is Turkish, and he's seen, as we've all have, absolutely awful scenes from what has happened over the last few days, since in fact the 6th of February, when two enormous earthquakes struck Turkey and Syria. And well, the devastation, the death is horrendous. And it's not in fact just the damage to the buildings now, but the relief effort is incredibly difficult because the temperatures are dropping so fast. And anyway, Serkan has made this puzzle on the screen, and it's actually, I think it's going to be quite a difficult puzzle for me to solve, because I mean it's themed around what has happened on the ground. You know, that there are cities we have to place in the grid, and these are cities that have been affected by the earthquakes themselves. But I hope that you'll all understand that Serkan is Turkish, his family are Turkish, and he thinks that this is the best way that he can try and raise some money for the relief effort, and we're very happy to help him with that. So there's going to be a link under this video, in the video description, to a charity that Serkan says is the best one, basically, to try and get money to help people on the ground. And if you're in a position to help, please do so. We would be most grateful. I know Serkan would be most grateful. In fact, you know, there are so many people in the puzzling community who are Turkish. Turkey is a really big puzzling nation. And yeah, anything we can do to help, you know, it will be appreciated. So yes, so that's the reason we're not doing a James puzzle today. It's literally, this puzzle only came in last night. I rushed it off to the testers. They've actually had a lot of difficulty solving it. I think it's quite a difficult puzzle, but I've just heard back that basically it works. So I'm recording this at 5:15 in the afternoon, which means if it is a difficult puzzle and it takes me an hour or something, I'm really going to be up against it to get the intro music added and everything done. But I'm going to try, because for obvious reasons, this is a very time-sensitive subject, so we want to, if we can, get this puzzle done today. Right, let me see if I've got any happier news. Let me look at my list here. I have got happier news. We released a bonus video on the channel earlier on, Matt Boyak's solve of Fistomerfel's puzzle, Fistomerfel's masterpiece puzzle, Ancient Wall. So Matt, thank you very much for making such an entertaining video. I've been reading the comments. You all like Matt. I'm not surprised. He's a brilliant teacher, and he talks through how to approach the logic in the puzzle. So it's not a live solve, but it's a sort of tutorial, and I think it works really well. And it was very nice to have a guest channel host for this morning. So Matt, thank you, and do make sure, if you have some puzzling time, do check out Ancient Wall. It is a work of staggering genius from Fistomerfel, and we're going to be releasing the setting video, Nicholas's explanation of how he created the puzzle Chaotic Equality. That will probably be with you on Monday morning UK time. And the only other thing to say is that the Glum Hippo Hunt, which is our February monthly reward on Patreon, I've got some names for you for successful solvers, but I do need to confess that that puzzle hunt's definitely harder than I led you to believe it was. I said it was quite a bit easier than J. Dyer's and Fistmafel's hunts. The feedback is it definitely is. It definitely is. It's at least as hard. So if you have managed to get to the end of Glum Hippo's hunt, not only will you be within you'll have a chance to win the hippo plushie, but you can give yourselves a hearty congratulations for being brilliant. I should say, by the way, James Copp's birthday, your son Ben wrote to us about that and said it was your birthday and you'd like a shout out. So Ben, well done. Well done for letting us know. But anyway, these are correct solvers of Glum Hippo's hunt. Masteda, Jacob Roberts, Lady Ruatha, John Dawson, Thaddeus Wenger, Pablo Martin Vieras probably, Zorro, Yan Lim, Joe Chang, Vincent Vermau, Tran Chi Hui, Kathy Bryant, Christy Klingert, Lapsed Memory, Humming Bee, Toshi Kato, or it could be Kivia or Kevia. I know you're from Taiwan, but I don't know about the pronunciation. Sorry if I've got that wrong. And Anna Killian. You all solved the hunt correctly. Very well done indeed. Now I'm going to read you the rules of earthquakes in Turkey, and we can see what's going on in Serkan's puzzle. And as I say, this puzzle is incredibly thematic in a way that I think we'd have been uncomfortable presenting this if it hadn't come in from somebody from Turkey. But this is what Serkan has managed to construct. Normal Sudoku rules apply. 10 cities have been affected by 2 major earthquakes, 7.7 and 7.6 on the Richter scale in Turkey. Place each city's name, and I'm going to give you the list of cities in a moment, place each city's name along a grey line, 1 letter per cell. For lines without arrows, the city can be read in either direction, otherwise it must read in the arrow's direction. So yes, so we've got a couple of, at least 2 arrows I've spotted in the grid where we're going to have to put the name of the city in the direction of the arrow. Otherwise, let's find another one. That one doesn't have an arrow, so we can do that city in either direction. The Sudoku works as follows. Now this is really complicated. If a cell's letter is included in the spelling of one of the digits 1 to 9, and then there's an example which says, e.g. 1 is O-N-E, 2 is T-W-O, all the way through to 9, which would be N-I-N-E. So, my phone's going nuts. So if a cell's letter, so once we've placed the cities, if a cell's letter, so let's say that that letter was, I don't know how, I've got to put it on letters. I'm trying to think of a good example. If that was an N, then what we would do is we would say, okay, does N appear in the spelling of any numbers? And N appears in the spelling of the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not very good at this. 9. So if that was true and this was an N, I think what you do is you say that cell can be a 1, a 7 or a 9. Because that digit would be a valid candidate for that cell. That's what the instructions tell us. If a cell's letter is not included in the spelling of any of the digits, so let's say this was a Z, then any of the digits 1 to 9 can be placed in that cell. So basically, only if a letter appears in the spelling of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9, when you write them down, now anyone watching this channel I'm sure can spell the letters or spell the numbers. So I think hopefully that's okay. Then basically we're going to be able to reduce the grid or change the grid from letter entries into a Sudoku with some cells having restricted candidates, and then we should be able to solve a Sudoku from that. It's an incredible idea. Now, there's a couple more rules. It says one of the red earthquake lines, oh, I see. One of the red earthquake lines is 7.7, and the other is 7.6. And I think the 6 and the 2 are because the earthquake happened on the 6th of February. And then there's a whole list of cities that we have to place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 cities, and the cities are ADANA, ADIYAMAN, ADIYAMAN. I might get the pronunciation very wrong. Apologies if I do. DIYARBAKIR, GAZIANTEP, HATAY, KAHRAMANMARAS, KILIS, MALATYA, OSMANIYE, and SANLIURFA. Those are the cities that we have to put along the grey lines. So that is our challenge. Incredibly interesting puzzle, very unusual, sort of a combination of letters and our ability to cycle through the spelling of letters, which I think this is a puzzle type that I've seen before. In the dim distant past, I think I have done a puzzle where you had to do something like this. But it's not for a long time, and I will be very bad at it, and for that I apologise. But anyway, do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video. The way to help the people of Turkey and Syria is to click the link under the video as well, the other link. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So, where do we get cracking? I suppose what we're meant to do is to... Well, I can put 7s and 6s into here. Actually, that is useful. I'm going to do that because I can see how to do something with that. Because I know that one of these is 7-6, one of these is 7-7. But I can't put 2 7s in column 7. So the 6, the one that's 7.6, the 6 of that must be in those 2 squares, which means those 2 squares must be 7. So that at least gives us something. Now, do I know which of these is the 6 now? Does it say what the order is that we read them? No, it doesn't. It just says one of the lines is 7.7, the other is 7.6. So I don't think I do know which way round these go. But I can, okay, there's a 7 over here by Sudoku. I'm not sure how much Sudoku there's going to be in the early stages of this, though, because we're going to have to plot all of these cities, aren't we? So let's think about how we're going to do that. There's an enormous name. The KAHRAMANMARAS is the longest name. I can see that just at a glance. And that is 13 letters large. So we should have a line. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's nothing like 13, is it? What about this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, that's 10. This one then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Right. That one is KAHRAMANMARAS. Now, let me think about this. So what are we saying? We're saying that we don't know whether it's KAHRAMANMARAS from here with the K or KAHRAMANMARAS with here with the K. Okay, when I read the instructions before I turned on the webcam, I've been thinking for some reason that this was a bit crosswordy, but it's not actually, is it? So because no other city crosses with this line. So actually, I'm actually wondering whether I'm going to put in the letters at all. I could do, because Sven's software is so good. So I could, let me try and do that. I could do things like this. But I'm not sure there's any value to that. Because surely what I should be doing is looking along the letters of KAHRAMANMARAS. And any letter that doesn't appear in the spelling of any number is an unrestricted cell. So, oh no, so I was going to say, well, yes, okay, I can do this. So if you look at the second digit and the penultimate digit, they are both A's. So it doesn't matter which of these is K. The second digit and the penultimate digit are both A's. And A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A is not a digit, right? So that's totally useless, right? So A is a digit. A is a letter, sorry. A is a letter that appears in no spelling of a number. And therefore, these two cells here are effectively, let's make them green. They are effectively unrestricted Sudoku cells. It doesn't matter which way the spelling of KAHRAMANMARAS goes. Those two cells are not going to be restricted. Now, let's see if we can get other digits. What about... what's that? That's a given 6. Does that matter? So if this was K, K-A-H-R, R is not in the spelling of 6. So does that mean KAHRAMANMARAS comes from there? I think it does. Let me just read the instructions again. If a cell's letter is included in the spelling, such a digit is a valid... yeah, this digit isn't... yes, if this was KAHRAMANMARAS starting from here, 6 would not be a valid digit here, because that cell would contain an R, and R is in 3, 4, 6, 7, just 3 and 4. So this would have to be a 3 or a 4, and it's not. Right, so this is the K of KAHRAMANMARAS. This K, so it goes K, which is, I don't think, in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so that's a green cell. Then it goes K-A-H. H is definitely in 3, isn't it? 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's in 8. 4, 5, 6, 7. It's in 8 as well. Bobbins. Okay, so that's not, we don't know that. It's 3 or 8. Then R is in 3. R is in 4 as well. Okay, yeah, I just did that in my head, didn't I? 3 and 4, because I was thinking about the 6. I thought, I've just done this. My brain has just made these thoughts, and then I got sort of sudden deja vu. Okay, so A we know is not in anything. Then it goes M. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. M is not in anything. A is not in anything, so we go there again. N. Have I done N? N is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, 7 is not possible, but it could be a 7 in theory. 8, 9. 9 is possible. So 1 or 9 into this square. KAHRAMANMARAS. So this is M again, which we've already looked at. That's nothing. Now, have we made a mistake? Then we get an... oh, well, then we get an A. KAHRAMANMA. This is an A. This is an A, which is an unrestricted digit. So that's fine for that to be a 6. And then we go here, which is an R. Well, R is not in the letter 7. So I'm thinking that can't be 7 now. Wasn't that R? Hang on. Yes. All right, there's a 3-4 pair is what we're learning. There's a 3-4 pair in this box, and that is not a 7. We've got another digit. We've got another 7 in the grid. So we've got 3 7s. We've got a 3-4 pair, and that 7 corresponds... oh, that's lovely. Yeah, so that 7 corresponds with an S, and of course that's right, because 7... if you do spell 7 with an S, believe it or not. So KAHRAMANMARAS is in the grid. And therefore, I'm not sure what we do with that. But let's think about the next longest probably. So ADIYAMAN is 8. DIYARBAKIR is 10. GAZIANTEP is 9. Oh no, okay, sorry. I've just realised something that I should have appreciated immediately. There's only one 7-letter city. MALATYA. So there should be only one 7-letter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's not that one. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's not that one. Is it this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, it's this one. Right. There's only one 7-letter line because there's only one 7-letter city, and this line is MALATYA. And MALATYA, MA is not restricted. A again. L 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, nah. MALATYA has very few spellings in common, or letters in common with spellings. T is in the... Oh, it's only one letter. All of those are all letters, M-A-L, A, Y and A, that aren't in the spelling of the numbers. So it's only this digit, which is a T, which is either a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, not 9. 2, 3, or... Oh, it's not 2. Alright, so this is 3 or 8. But that whole city name, Malatya, only gives us one candidate or one cell of candidates, which is quite strange. OSMANIYE is 8. SANLIURFA is 9. Right, so there was 110, wasn't there? DIYARBAKIR, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so this is DIYARBAKIR. But we don't know, there's no arrow on this one, so we don't know which order it's in. So can we deduce anything from this? D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the equivalent of nori nori, me saying these numbers over and over again. D is not in, so D is not useful. I is useful. Oh, I know what it is. Look, there's 2 I's. And they're in again, it's in the second and the penultimate position. So what Serkan is doing here is very clever, because it doesn't actually matter then which side we start from. We don't mind if this is the D or if this is the D. We know that the second and the penultimate letters, which are those 2, have to be letters that are involved or have to be numbers that are spelt with an I. So those numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. 5, 6, 8, and 9. That's not what I was hoping for. Okay, let's look for other letters in dia. So then there's a Y. That's no good. A is no good. R is good. Yes, R was a 3 or a 4, wasn't it? I've got 2 R's. I've got a B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's no B's and no K's. Right. So depending on which way round DIYARBAKIR goes, we've got to put 2 R's into the 5th and the 10th position. So one of those 2 squares is a 3 or a 4 because it's an R. This is hard to see, isn't it? So let me just try this. If that's D, that's R, and that's R. So that would be a 3-4 pair. That's interesting. So if this is D, that is a 3-4 pair. But if this is D, D-I-Y-A-R, oh, bobbins, right. Well, that's the 3-4 pair. I suppose it still is a pair in the sense it's in the column. So either we get a 3-4 pair in column 9 from DIYARBAKIR, or we get a 3-4 pair in column 8 from DIYARBAKIR. And my phone is going nuts at the moment. Right, and we're always going to have... So there's a floating 3-4 pair in row 5 as well, because we're going to have a 3-4 here, and one of these two squares is a 3 or a 4, depending on which way round DIYARBAKIR goes on its 10-cell line. So that's interesting, isn't it? Because that allows us to do a bit of... Well, that, yeah, it's restricting those digits in the middle row. If we look at this box now, we've got 3, 4 here in one of those two, 3, 4 here, 2 and 6. Well, those squares are not from that panoply of digits. So 2, 3, 4 and 6 in box 5 have to go in those squares by our old friend Sudoku, 2, 3, 4 and 6, which means that that's a green digit, so that doesn't matter. That's a digit on something that's going into there or coming out of there, I suppose. Right, so probably what we have to do now is, well, I'm wondering whether what I'm meant to do, 5 and 8 in box 5 have to be in those squares. No, that doesn't do it, does it? So right, I'm not sure what to do now. I think we've probably got to go and think about the next size down, which is 9-letter cities, which is going to be Gaziantep and SANLIURFA. So we need 9-letter lines, which are, that's an 8-letter line. In fact, maybe I should have a different colour for every length of line. So we'll make that yellow. That's an 8-length line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a 9-length. That's what I'm looking for, a 9-length line. I'll make that red. But there's another 9-length line somewhere, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That one, right. So this one is also red. And there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so that's the other yellow length line. And then we've got a whole load of... We've got to have 3 5-cell or 5-cell cities, which I can see those. Okay, so what do we do next? Do we have an arrow? We do have an arrow on this one. So this is a 9-letter city that's either Gaziantep, which would start with G here. G is in the letter 8. So this could be an 8. That would be fantastically helpful as well. If that's 8, that's 3, that's 4, that's 3. But it could be Gaziantep, SANLIURFA, in which case, well, in this case, it's still useful because that's a 6 then, because it's got to be an S digit, which is in 6 and it's in 7. Now, how do we tell which of those is likely? Oh, no, it's obvious. Oh, it is obvious, actually. It is really obvious. Sorry. Right. The way to get this is not to look at this line at all, although that line has the arrow. The way to get this is to look at this, which has two... Whichever one of these is the starting letter, it definitely can't be a G, because G can only be in the spelling of the number 8. So we actually know that's an 8 in the corner, because we know that this is Gaziantep. And if we know that this is Gaziantep, well, not only do we know that's 3, that's 4, that's 3. These are not 4 anymore. I feel a bit bad, actually, even smiling when I'm solving this puzzle. I'm sorry if that's not appropriate. I'm, you know, I don't really know what to do other than just try and almost put the circumstances of the puzzle out of my brain and solve it, and think about what it's about in a different state of my brain or a different state of mind. Right, so I've done some Sudoku there. There is a 4, look, in one of those cells. Whoopsie, not a 5, a 4, which means there's a 4 in one of these cells, which means that, hang on, what was I saying over here? These were the R's, weren't they, of DIYARBAKIR? So, okay. I've done it. Right, that's lovely, actually. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful... I don't know how you construct things like this, Serkan, but that's so clever. Right. Remember what we said about purple and blue. We said that they were a 3-4 pair because they correspond to the R's, or the possible R's, in DIYARBAKIR. Now, that 3 can't go in those cells, so there must be a 3 in one of those 2 cells, and it's not there by this by Sudoku. So purple are not R's, blue are R's, and blue is a 3-4 pair, which we could do. We can just fill it in using the power that this one can't be a 3. So that's a 3-4 pair. This is 8. This is not 8. That square feels restricted because it can't be 5 and 8 from the middle box, so that square's just 1 or 9. And this one is, this is DIYARBAKIR. Oh, so now we know which way round DIYARBAKIR goes, don't we? Because yes, we know it ends in R, so that's a D, but a D is a useless digit. So what we could do, I suppose, is just to fill this in with its panoply of useless digits or useless letters. So we get good letters from the 2 I's, good letters from the 2 R's, and this digit, which I think is a Sudoku digit rather than a restricted letter digit. Okay. And what does this mean? You may very well ask. Well, one thing actually I was thinking is that Gaziantep. I've got the G, but I've not thought about the rest of its letters. A, Z, I is I is the 5, 6, 8 or 9 digit. Oh, well, that's still a little bit good because it does see 6 and 8. Because I know it's the same as those 2. I remember those were I's. So this one can't be 6, can't be 8, so it's 5 or 9. Gazi. That's A again, which is not useful, but N is useful. N is in 1, 7, and 9. So this is 1, 7, or 9. Unfortunately, all of those seem to be possible. Gaziantep. T. So this is T, which is 2, 3, or 8. Again, not useful. E is in 1. It's not in 2. It's in 3. Not in 4. It's in 5. 5. It's not in 6. It's in 7. It's in 8, and it's in 9. Okay. Properly unrestricted cell. Although I suppose, given that green cell could have all its digits, all the digits 1 to 9 labelled in it, it's still probably worth recording. And then that's a P, which is, I don't think, in any of the spellings. So from Gaziantep we get these. But, of course, what we're going to be able to do now, we now know that the red spy, or the red city, is the other one, SANLIURFA, which begins with an S. Now, S is in 6 and S is in 7, which is a 6. So that's going to be the 6 or the 7, although that could be as well. Bobbins. If the only way that SANLIURFA starts here is if this is a 6. So that would put an N here, which is a 179 digit, which looks fine, doesn't it? So SAN L I, which is not very restricted, 5, 6, 8 or 9. U, I don't think there are any U's in one. Oh, 4 has got a U in it. Oh, you see, I reckon if you did loads of these puzzles, you'd be really, you'd know exactly what numbers correspond to different letters. U is in the number 4. It is only in the number 4. Right, so U, right, so we can pencil mark a 4 then. Because if this starts with an S here, the 4 is 1, 2, 3 there. And if it starts here, it's no good. Look at that. One of those two positions in red is a 4. That's... Well, actually, I can do something with that. That's actually quite pretty. Is that definitely right? I think that's right. It's the 4th digit from the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So going back to which direction SANLIURFA goes round the redness is in, if that is an S, we know it's a 6 because it has to be a 6 or a 7. But that makes that one a 4, like a U, in other words. So it has to be a 4. But that means neither of those squares could be a 4. And my pencil mark 4s seem to indicate that that wouldn't work. So I don't think that can be an S by that logic. Which is quite cool, isn't it? SANLIURFA. Would be a 4. Yeah, alright, so that's got to be the S of SANLIURFA, but unfortunately that means, well, it's going to give us the 4 over there somewhere, but it's going to mean that this digit is not known, because it could 6 and 7 both begin with S. So then we go A, which is not a restricted digit, N, which is this 179 digit. Now that's better, that C's a 7. So N, L, no, there's no else. I is the 5, 6, 8 or 9 digit. Okay. Then U, so this is the 4. That's a new digit. And then we've got R, which, oh, R is 3 or 4. R is 3 or 4, I'm sure it's 3 or 4. Hang on. 1, 2, 3 is 3, 4. Yeah. R, so that's just a given. We just get that digit straight away. We get a 4 and then a 3. And then an F, which is a 4 or a 5. Oh, that's, I see. I think I might have, maybe I was meant to start with this, you know. I didn't realise that U, R and F, in effect, formed a 4, 3, 5 sequence. I bet you there's a reason you couldn't just put that in up there, but I didn't think of it. So this is 4, 3, 5. Oh, this is 4, 3, 5. That's become a 9 by Sudoku. So this has got to be not a 9. And we've got 4, 3, 5. What's the last digit? An A. Oh no, so the A is unrestricted because it can be anything. So we get SANLIURFA into the grid. We've got GAZIANTEP into the grid. We've got rid of a 9 here. And we've got... I don't know what else we've got. I can't see anything else. I have a horrible feeling there's a lot of Sudoku we could do at this point. But I can't see where it is. Yeah, okay. Where does 3 go in the top row? It goes there. by the power of Sudoku. So this is not a 3. That's not a 3. So this has come down to 2 or 8. 4 is in one of those cells. I don't know. 4 is in one of those two cells. I'm not sure whether we're meant to go to town on pencil marking or not. 3s, 7s. No, okay. Alright, so perhaps what we're meant to do now is to work on the next longest cities, which are going to be ADIYAMAN, and OSMANIYE and ADIYAMAN. So ADIYAMAN doesn't look like it's got many restricted digits at all. It's got an I in it, which we know is a 5, 6, 8 or 9. And it's got an N in it, which is a 1, 7 or 9. Right, and the 1, 7 or 9 is at the end. Right, so if this was ADIYAMAN, that could not be the starting letter, because that would have to be a 1, 7 or 9, and it's not. So it would have to be, this would be the starting letter. The I would be here, which would have to be a 6, because it would have to be from the panoply of digits that is a valid I digit, which is 5, 6, 8 or 9. So if this is A, that is 6, and that is a 1 or a 7 or a 9 in the corner, but it's not a 9 because there's a 9 in the row. We get a 1, 7 pair in that row. That's if this is the A of ADAMAYAN. Or, well, actually, it's if this yellow is ADIYAMAN, because we know that ADIYAMAN cannot start there. What about OSMANIYE then? OSMANIYE begins with an O, which is in the word to. T-O-O. No, it's, it's in 1 as well. Oops. How could I not immediately know that? It's in 1, it's in 2, it's in 4. No, it's not in any others. 1, 2 or 4 for OSMANIYE. 1, 2 or 4, so... Oh no, that can work. That can be a 2. Oh, bobbins. I was about to say that that couldn't be the starting letter. Alright, so can that be the starting letter? Then it would end in an E, which can presumably be just about it. Yes, there are common digits there, aren't there? So, OSMANIYE. The second digit of OSMANIYE is an S, which is a 6 or a 7 digit, so that would be useful there. That would give me a 6, 7 pair. Oh, in fact, it would give me a... That 7 would mean that would be a 6, that would be a 7, that would be a 6. So can I have 2 6s in those cells? Maybe, I'm not sure. If that was a 7, that would be a 7. So that would be quite useful if this was OSMANIYE starting here, but it could be starting here as well. OSMAN. So we get an N and an I along the string of OSMANIYE as well. But N is 179, I is 5, 6, 8 or 9. Don't know. Sorry. Oh, I tell you what I haven't looked at, whether we can do something with this one. Because maybe we can rule out one of the options. I can actually immediately. I can see OSMANIYE can't start there because that would be an S digit, which would be a 6 or a 7. So if this is OSMANIYE, it starts there with a 1, 2 or a 4 digit for the O, followed by a 6 or a 7 digit. OSMAN, this would be an N digit, which is a 1, 7 or a 9. That would be an I digit, which is a 5. It's nothing. Okay, so I know OSMANIYE doesn't start here. What about the ADIYAMAN? That ends in N, which is 1, 7 or 9. I think it can go either way. Okay, I'm going to have a quick look at the three 5-letter answers. So we've got ADANA, HATAY and KILIS. Now ADANA, I think, only has one letter in it that appears in the spelling of numbers, and that's the N, which we know is a 1, 7 or a 9, and that's in the penultimate position. So it's either here or here if this is ADANA. Can either of those not be 1, 7, 9? No. Right. This one, can either that one can't be 7. That one actually can't be 1, 7 or 9 apparently. That's 2, 4 or 6. So if this is ADANA, that cell is 1, 7 or 9, which would give me a 1, 9 pair in the row, because that can't be a 7. But if this is ADANA, then either that cell or that cell is 1, 7 or 9. Well, that one would be useful, because wouldn't that rule out something? I thought there was a 1, 7 or 9 along the bottom with one of the versions of cities we could have had in yellow. But I mean, the fact is that could be the 1, 7 or a 9. Yes, it could. All right. ADANA is not useful, I don't think. What about HATAY? So HATAY, H is a digit. That can be in 3, definitely, and 8. 3 and 8. So HATAY can be in 3 and 8. So that cell, well, that's interesting. That definitely is not the start of HATAY. If HATAY starts in this box, it's got to go there. And then the only other digit that counts in HATAY is T, which is in 2, 3, and 8. 2, 3, and 8. So hang on. If this is HATAY, that's H, which is an 8. And that's 2, 3, so that's a 2 then. Unfortunately, I can't see why that doesn't work. Bobbins McBobbins face. Right. What about down here then? HATAY would give us... We need to have a 3 or an 8 in the first position, don't we? Well, that wouldn't be the H. That would be the H. And it would be an 8. And then the T would be here. That doesn't work. That cell can't be. Yeah, that's interesting, actually. So this one is not HATAY, because H can't go here, because there's no H in the number 2, TWO. And H can go there, but only if it's an 8, because the 3's gone. But then that square would have to be the T of HATAY, and that would need it to be a 2, 3 or an 8. And if that's an 8, it can't be anything. So that is not HATAY. So, right, I'm now torn between trying to work out whether this can be KILIS or trying to work out whether this can be HATAY. If this one is HATAY, we need to put an H on one end of it, which is a 3 or an 8, which is in one of those squares. The T would have to be here, 2, 3 or 8, 2, 3, Okay, I don't think I can rule HATAY out of that. Can I rule KILIS out of this? Because I've ruled HATAY out. So KILIS is double, well, it's eyes again in these penultimate positions, isn't it? So this cell and this... Oh, no, this is much simpler. Oh, that's really cool. It's very, very clever. Right, let's ignore eyes. S is 6 or 7, and it's in the final position of KILIS. So if that's the final position of KILIS, it can't be 6 or 7, and neither can this be. So this is not KILIS, it's not HATAY, it is ADANA, which means, and I think that had only one way round, didn't it? Because the N of ADANA is 1, 7 or 9, and that can't be that digit. So that digit is a 1 or a 9, and this is ADANA. And those 3 digits are all green, and all of these digits are basically green, aren't they? Because they were unrestricted within ADANA. This was restricted. It gave us a 1, 9 pair, which gives us a 1, 9 pair in that box, look, which gives us a 2 8 pair in that box, which we can't get. We get rid of 2 in there. We've got a 3 6 pair. We can get that digit. That's got to be a 5 by Sudoku, look. Right, and that 5 comes out of there, comes out of there. Oh no. 3 6 pair here means we can get rid of 6 from those, 3 from that one. We've now got a 2 4 pair in box 5. We've got 1 of 1 and 9 coming into these 3 cells. 2 4 pair. And oh right, yes, okay, so those digits now are 3 6 and 8. Now can we do anything with that? That's not 3. That's not 8 or 6. There's a 6 7 pair. There we go. There's a 3. There's a 3 down here, not in the corner. This column maybe, because we've got the 6 7 pair. We need 1 4 5 and 9. Bobbins. That doesn't do anything. We've got... Okay, so can we... No, HATAY went down here. Can I rule out KILIS from one of these? KILIS ends with a 6 7 because it ends with the S. So one of those would have to be a 6 7. That looks plausible. One of these would... Oh, well, that looks plausible as well, doesn't it? Penultimate digits would have to be I's, which is those 2 digits, which are 5 6s 8s and 9s, if I remember. No, okay, sorry, I don't think I can do that. So I can't do the 5 ones. Can we do any Sudoku trickery here? AKA Sudoku. No, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I've got to go back to the yellow ones. What were the yellow ones? OSMANIYE. OSMANIYE and... No, not GAZIANTEP. That's 9. Oh, ADIYAMAN. ADIYAMAN. So ADIYAMAN has the N at the end. Yes, okay, so ADIYAMAN, it was the one that had to start from here, because if this can't be an N. But that's still possible, isn't it? I feel like all of that stuff we've just done has not really helped me with anything here. OSMANIYE is... OSMANIYE has this 6 7 in its second position. That... Oh no, that can still be a 6. Rotten thing. Can't be a 7. OSMANIYE is... OSMANIYE starts with 1 2 4. 1 2 or 4. That's not 1 2 or 4. That... Well, that's not the starting position. That's the starting position, isn't it? That could be a starting position as well. Right, OSMANIYE doesn't start from there, so it either starts here. It doesn't start there, does it? Because its second digit has to be 6 or 7 to be the S. Right, so the starting position for OSMANIYE is either here, with a 1 or a 2, because it can't be a 4, or here, with a 1 or a 2, which can't be a 4. So one of these 2 squares is a 1, 2, is a 1 or a 2. Then that would be a 6 or a 7, which looks possible, or that would be a 6. That would have to be a 6, because it can't be a 7. OS. Then what's the next letter? M is not important. A is not important. N. N is 1, 7, or 9. OSMA. So this can be... That can be 1, 7, or 9. Yeah, okay, so OSMA. That. Oh, that can be 1, 7, or 9. Bobbins. Osman. Then we have an I, which is the the 5, 6, 8 or 9. It's the same as this digit, isn't it? And that's in the 6th position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. OSMANIYE. So that would be a 6. But didn't I say that was going to be a 6 as well? Hang on a minute. If that's an O, that's a 6. Yeah, that's right. That's a 6 because it's 6 or 7. Os, man, that has to be an I, which has to be a 6 because 7 is not spelt with an I. Last time I checked, this is making my head hurt. Well, no, this is perfect. So this is just not OSMANIYE. You can't do it because you can't start it with O. O is 1, 2 or 4. So it doesn't start here. And it doesn't start there because you get 2 6s in the box. So this one is OSMANIYE. And that doesn't start here because that would be a 6 or a 7. So it starts there. Here we go. This is a 1 or a 2. That's a 6 or a 7 for os. This one, this is n, which is 1, 7 or 9. This is I, which is 5, 6, 8 or 9. This is not doing anything at all, is it? And then we go OSMAN, this is Y, which is not restricted. This is E, which is the same as that digit, which is 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. So that we can take 3 out of here, and 7 and 8. So this has come down to 1, 5 or 9. We know that one's ADIYAMAN. 8 in this box now is there because we've managed to rule 8 out of those 3. Look, we get an 8 here. We don't get an 8 here. We get no 8 here. What else do we get? No, we don't get 7. I don't think we get 7 anyway. 7 is a bit restricted in box 1. This can only be in these 2 cells now, which means 7 down here is in one of 2 cells. 3, 4. No, okay. Okay. God, I'm nearly up to an hour. How has that come by that quickly? This puzzle is hard. It's hard for me anyway. I'm just not good at computing these, how the letters map to numbers at any sort of speed. Right, I think we've got to look down here, because didn't we know the order if this was ADIYAMAN? Yes, we did, because that couldn't be the N. You're right, so that's an N in the corner, which doesn't get a song, but it is an N in the corner, which is a 1, 7 or 9. It's not 9. Right, I've got a 1, 7 pair in the bottom here, and there's another digit that we're going to get here, because ADIYAMAN had another digit, which was the I, wasn't it? So the I is in 3rd position, which is here, which is a 6. Because it's got to be a 5, 6, 8 or 9. So that becomes 6. That's not 6 anymore. That's a 7. Oh, I see. So that does our Richter numbers. Look. There's something very sad about putting those into the grid. Okay. So 7 I can now place, look. Well, I can't place it in this box, but I can place it there by power of Sudoku. Is that helpful? I want to eliminate the 6 from here, because I look at this line, I say we can't have a repeat on it, but that's viewing it as a Renban, which it's most certainly not. Oh no, I thought I could do something with 6. It's an 6, 8, 9 in this column. So 1, 2 and 7 to place in the other position. So that's a 1 or a 2 in the corner. That is 1, 2 or 7, I think. I've got that's it. Look, I've got a 1, 2 pair in the top row, so we get a 9. No, that's not it. It's not done anything. No, 4, 5, and 4, 5, and 6. So that's a 5 or a 6 in the corner. 4, 5, or 6. That's not 6. Oh dear. What about... Maybe it's the... Can I do more with the 5-cell cities again? So I did ADANA, didn't I? This was ADANA. So I've got KILIS and HATAY to do. And HATAY I thought was the... Well, I thought HATAY was the most restricted because it had the... Yes, okay. Sorry, this can't be HATAY. Did I think this could be HATAY before? There's a 3 and an 8 in its... Oh, did I not have the 3 and the 8 last time I looked at this? But you can't... H is only 3 or 8. So this is not HATAY. This is KILIS, which means that... Which is great. That's great, because KILIS has 2 I's. It's got an I in its second and an I in its penultimate, so that's a double I, which is not 8, 9. That's a 5, 6 pair. That is absolutely gorgeous. If such a thing is possible in a puzzle like this, that is gorgeous. 5's, that's not 5 by Sudoku. So does that means that is 7? I see. So that's 7. This is not 7. More importantly, that's become a 1, which means that's not 1. Ooh, I thought I was going to get a 1 there, but I'm not actually. 1 is in one of these 2 cells by Sudoku. 7 is in the corner by Sudoku. This box, look, I've not put 1, 2, and 4 into it. So that's got to be a 1 or a 2. That's a 1, 2, or a 4. And that's a 2 or a 4. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay. So, well, that was moderately exciting for a moment. 7 I can place in by Sudoku in box 8 there, which means that's 7. Have I got all the 7s? 1, 2, 3. I have got all the 7s in the grid. And this was KILIS, wasn't it? Which needed a 6 or a... Oh, I see. Okay. So that 7 there for KILIS is the S of KILIS, because it can't... We know there's a 6 or a 7 in one of those 2 cells to be the end letter. And obviously this cell can be neither 6 nor 7 because the 6 and the 7 are in those 3 cells. So we now if we wanted to, could go KILIS for KILIS. But this one has got to be the other one, HATAY now, which begins, we know, with 3 or 8, which therefore begins there, because that's not 3 or 8, there is a knowledge bomb, with a 3. So that's a 3. That's a 3 by Sudoku. That's a 6 by Sudoku. Okay, so that's a 3. 6 looks like it's got to be in one of those squares. Let's just double click the 3s. We have done all of them. Now, the other digit is T, isn't it, in HATAY, which has got to be there. And HATAY's T is a 2, a 3, or an 8. Well, it's not a 3 or an 8 by Sudoku. So that, oh, this is gorgeous. That is doing mighty things, look. Because that 2 is therefore there, which makes all of that 2, 1, and 4 finish, which gives me a 9 here as well. Ah, which gives me a 9 here and a 1 here. Come on. Please. Please, you've put up a stiff resistance puzzle. But I would like now for you to finish 6, 8, 6, 5. I think it is. I think it does actually feel like it's sort of allowing me to fill it in. Those 2 squares, 6 goes in the corner, so that's a 5. What digit have I not put into that column? 2. So that's a 2 by Sudoku, that's an 8. In this column we've not put in a 1, so we can do that. In this box, we've not put in 4, 5, or 6. So we've got a 6 and a 4, 5 pair, I think. In this row, we've not put in 4s and 5s, which we can do using the power of 5-age. That gives us a 4 up here, a 5 here, 1, 4, and 8. 8 goes in here by Sudoku. 4 here, 1 here, 1 here, 9 here, 1. Come on. 4, 2. Right, what do we need in this middle box? We need 5, 8, 9. Okay. 8 can only go there. 5 can only go there. 9 can only go there. So that becomes 9. That's a 4. That's a 5. That must be 5. And we've got a 2 and a 9 left to do. 2, 9, I think, in that order. What a puzzle. My goodness me. Wow. Wow, Serkan, to create that at such short notice is, well, I think it's a stunning testament both to your brain and I'm sure what you feel is your need to try and help your fellow countrymen and women. So I hope you had a go at the puzzle, but to be honest, what I really hope is that you click the link under the video and see if there's anything you can do to help. I'm sure if you've watched the news, you know just how desperate things are on the ground, and wouldn't it be nice if a little old Sudoku video could make hopefully a massive difference, but even a small difference. That would be really something. So Serkan, thank you very much for sending the puzzle. I am desperately sorry, my friend, that you had to do it. And yeah, let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially if they're kind, and I'm sure they will be today. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.